Hey, it's me, your local Raizoni. As promised, it's a Sunday. It's time to do this shit again. More chaos said. Alrighty. Last time we did this, we went to Gigantes and I met that. Was it? What's her name? Fesu. Fesu, right? So now we continue. Hope you're all doing a good day. Anyway, let's do this. Should got water. Actually, there's my water. Probably should grab that quickly. Yeah, just give me a second. I'll grab my water because I know for a fact my voice will fucking die later. So let me just get that. Alright, water fucking got. Let's do this. I'll do my best to do this for about a good 2 hours maybe. Give or take. And from there we'll see how far we get. Depending of the section or not. Let me describe events exactly as they occurred. Today I grudgingly went to school, and then when class got out, somehow found myself going to buy a cell phone with my little sister. You I don't know why there's like a Y in there. Why? Huh. You probably don't have any idea why what I'm saying, but I don't get how it happened either.
お兄何ブツブツ言ってんの？それよりほら、この騎士はどうかって聞いてるんだけど。
I want to hurry up and go home. How many times would it take before my stupid sister finally got the fact that I didn't even need a cell phone in the first place? When I got to school today, Nanmi came all the way to my classroom to ambush me. After insulting me with "so rare for you to be at school," she ordered me to come buy a cell phone for sure this time. Once school day ended, I made an attempt to run away before she found me. I'd forgotten how fast she was. So our game of tag came to a swift end when she caught me and took me with her to the plaza by the train station. I didn't really want to come to the plaza. I never did. Even even now nausea had already begun to surge up inside me. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Without any idea how I felt, Nanmi picked up a bunch of sample models from the display at the front store and grunted to herself as she looked at them. I struggled to comprehend why Nanmi was giving me so much trouble or so much thought to the matter of buying a phone for me.
これ色が結構可愛いじゃん。いいと思うな。
Naturally, because she was seeking my opinion, I answered her.
それっていい。
でもな、お兄にはちょっと可愛すぎかも。似合わなさそう。
Talk to me, you have like such a moe sister. What the fuck, man? Never mind the fact that I said I was okay with it. I don't have any idea how many times I told her that's fine. Despite the fact that she asked my opinion, she had no intention of actually listening to me. This is why 3D girls are the absolute worst.
お兄、大丈夫？やっぱり人の長にやられちゃった？マクディで休もうか？
McDee's. McDee's, you say? You're telling me to enter that delinquent salon fast food shop? That itself would be hell. I shook my head fiercely.
ちょっと迷っちゃっててさ。
I sighed and decided to leave it without anonymity. She examined the numerous lined up cell phones with an earnest look on her face. I secretly said, "Talk to me, you dick." As I started to head for the Shibuya 107 building, I caught sight of a bizarre spectacle and unthinkingly stopped moving. What's that? Beyond the wave of people, a remarkably conspicuous girl was standing on the steps up to 107. The thing she held up in her face was a sword? Somehow, in both of its color scheme and atmosphere, it resembled the mic stand Festu had used during her performance. In fact, it'd be appropriate to think of them as being part of the same series. At any rate, it was a humongous sword. It might have even been even longer than the one Festu had. Surprisingly, the girl with the sword was wearing a Suime uniform. From this distance, I couldn't tell what her face was like or anything. But even though she stood out so much, she watched the people walking along the road below with an air of composure. That must have taken a lot of courage. What the? That must have taken a hell of a lot of courage. Okay, that I guess that makes sense. Not really. I seriously had to give her mad props. Walking around the Shibuya carrying a toy sword. What was this? Some kind of BDMS play? I wonder if that sword was a cosplay prop from some new anime or whatever. Although I had technically taken a look at all the recently aired new anime myself, had there been one where a sword like that showed up? Was there a show I'd forgotten to watch? I certainly wouldn't have found it possible to make myself carry that sword while walking around Shibuya. But it was a damn cool model. I kind of wanted one for myself. Maybe I'd find it being sold in Akiba? Or would it be available online? Someone's elbow dug into my back without any warning. I came rather close to passing out in agony, collapsing on the spot. Fucking wuss, dude. When I turned around, Nanami stood there, imposingly with a furious look on her face.
もしかして逃げようとした？確かにナナが選ぶのに時間かけすぎたのは悪いと思うけどさ。だからってナナを置き去りにして逃げようとするなんてひどいよ。
Dude, you made Nanami cry, my man. You should really consider what you did. For the time being, I shook my head.
お兄のバカ、携帯の電磁波が浴びすぎで腎臓を悪くして死んじゃえ。
She's my hell, dude. I don't get what you mean.
一生懸命お兄のために選んであげてたナナがバカみたいじゃん。こうなったらもう適当に決める。お兄なんてナナと同じ機種で十分だよ。本気で今日契約するんだからね。それまで絶対逃がさない。
Talk to me, you have a good sister on you, dude. Jesus.
わかったよ。話せよ。
分かったならさっさと来て。
I was completely clueless as to why Nanami has gone so gone so angry. God, what an aggravating sister. Bitch. In the end, as though all her fretting up until now had been some kind of lie, Nanami picked out a model all too easily. After spending an hour dealing with the red tape related to the phone plan, got my hands on the phone itself and was planning to go straight home, but Nanami stopped me.
ナナが初期設定してあげるからマクディやろ。
Ignoring my intention, she grabbed me by the collar and dragged me to the closest McD's without giving me so much as a chance to protest. Get some McD's, dude.
どうせお兄携帯持って帰っても電源入れずにほったらかしにするに決まってるんだから。ナナがちゃんと使えるようにしてあげる。
Damn it, just how much did you have to tie me down before you'd be satisfied? And bring me to McDee's on top of everything else? The insides of the McDee's in Shibuya was pure chaos. There's a ton of people, all talking loudly. Moreover, the high percentage of delinquent types among them was downright abnormal. In seats not far from mine were a group of gouty, blonde-eyed mothers and their kids. Absorbed by their blabbering, they ignored their kids, 3 in total, with red streaked hair, horrid little brats who shrieked and ran around the store. In some other seats were 4 high schoolers, equally sketchy looking and laughing rashly. 2 high school girls sat across from each other, both with bleached hair and loose knee socks, having staring contests with the screens of their respective cell phones. They didn't say a word to each other. Jesus, Takumi. And every nib was a middle-aged salaryman, probably skimming out of work, who laid slumped face down against his table and snored. A little further away was the even weirder sight of 5 elementary school runts, their knapsacks set on the floor, swinging their legs as they chattered cheerfully to one another. A group date? You're in elementary school and you're having a group date? Just talk to me soft. In any case, as far as the eyes could see, the place was filled with the type of people I didn't want to have anything to do with. Nanami sure was something else. Being able to keep her presence of mind in a place like this. As for me, the sheer number of people made my headache and my stomach turn. It was only getting worse and worse. More to the point, why exactly did I have to come hang out at McDee's with her?
ねえねえ、着信メロディーはどうする？なんか希望ある？
Nanami asked me without looking up, as she toyed with my cell phone.
アニソン。
却下。
A little late on that one, but yeah.
そんなだからお兄はオタクさんなんだよ。
You were the one who asked me what I wanted. It's my phone to begin with, so let me do what I want with it.
あ、そうだ。大村彼らの新曲にしたら？あれすっごくいい曲だよ。最近のナナのお気に入り。
You sort of putting your own opinion into this book, I guess.
それこそ却下だ。
うん、まあ、お兄に大村彼らは似合わないか。
Nanami said, showing not a fragment of consideration towards her other brother for buying a potato chip. On a side note, she ordered a fish burger combo, even though it wasn't dinner time yet. Moreover, I was the one who had to pay for it. Pretty ridiculous, given that I felt too ill to have an appetite.
あ、そうそう。それとね。
For some reason, Nanami pulled her bag up to the top of her knees, started fishing around inside it.
うーん。
Ooh,
あったあっ
alright,
た。
this part. What she proudly pulled out was...
ゲロカエルの
Oh, that ghetto! Ghetto Froggy!
不良品じゃないよ。先週出たギョロリゲロカエル。
Ah, Ghetto Froggy!
は？
知らないんだ。やっぱ遅れてるな、お兄は。ゲロカエルって毎週金曜日に新作が発売されてるんだよ。もう全部で12種類ぐらいあるんだから。
For real? These things have enough merit to keep selling each week? Dude, I want one! Oh my god.
携帯につけてるのは最初に出た普通のゲロカエルでしょ。で、次がデブッチョゲロカエルで、その次がカクカクゲロカエル。
Nanami effortlessly recited the name of various Ghetto
第
Froggies.
4弾がのっぺらゲロカエルで、第5弾が輝くゲロカエル。第6弾が一番人気があって猫ゲロカエルっていうの。その後が幽霊ゲロカエルン、眠るゲロカエルン、燃えるゲロカエルン、ゾンビゲロカエルン、酔っ払いゲロカエルン。
She remembered them all. Hold on, maybe...
お前コンプリートしてるの？
もちろんだよ。全部集めなきゃ意味ないもん。毎週買うのに行列ができるんだからね。
For such a lazily made product? Frankly, I could have designed something with... Really, Takumi? You sure about that? For that matter, why hadn't she started lecturing me on Garo Froggies out of the blue? Because she just wanted to give you something, bitch.
というわけでこのギョロリゲロカエルあげる。
え、なんで？
Because she loves you, dude. What the fuck?
このストラップを携帯につければ少しは女子からおやるなっていう目で見てもらえるから。
Or that too, I guess. I don't. Same shit, really. She said before starting to attach a strap to my cell phone, and I really don't need it.
コンプしなきゃ意味ないんだろ。僕がそれもらったらお前揃わないぞ。
Maybe she bought it too, bitch.
心配しなくても大丈夫。2つ買ったもん。
毎回2つ買ってるのか。
I was seriously having. I was having serious doubts about her sense of
今
aesthetics.
回だけだよ。お兄の携帯用に余分に買ったの。
わざわざ。
わざわざ。
Having finished attaching the strap, Nanami gave a satisfied nod and put her mouth to the straw for her juice. But she soon stopped with a jerk and leaned towards me.
別に並んだのはお兄のためじゃないよ。
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Anyway.
あくまでついでなんだか
いらない。
Talk to me, you little bitch.
ら。は
Still leaning towards me, Nanami widened her eyes with such force that it looked like she might start grabbing me at any moment now.
ぁいらないってナナがわざわざ買ってきてあげたのに。
Exactly my point.
ついでだったんだろ。っていうか僕ゲロカエルとか興味ないし、むしろキモいし。
Learn some fucking gratitude, my man.
だからお兄は女子にモテないんだよ。
I'd been convinced she would slap me or something, but Nanami was surprisingly calm as she sat back down and sulkily chomped on her potato chips.
でも抵抗しても無駄だからね。ギョロリゲロカエルンもうくっつけちゃったもん。もし勝手に
Oh shit, I didn't read that line. My bad.
毎週並んでもらうの刑だからね。
並ぶって何に？
決まってんじゃん。新作ゲロカエルンを買うための行列。2時間待ちとか普通だから。
Could be worse, honestly. Utterly unreasonable. Why'd I have to get friended by my little sister? For a little while afterwards, Nanami went on fiddling with my phone without saying a word. I was grateful, if only because it made things less noisy.
なんだか変な気分だな。
The next time she opened her mouth, Nanami's bad mood had vanished. For her, it wasn't just a matter of sleeping on it. Maybe she had the tendency to forget unpleasant and aggravating stuff in a matter of minutes. What an easygoing personality. In a certain sense, I was envious.
うん、やっぱ変だよ。
Why?
お兄とこうして2人で出かけるのって久しぶりな気がするもん。いつ以来かな。よく思い出せないや。お兄はいつも部屋にこもってアニメ見てるかゲームしてるかだもんね。
Called out, Jesus.
ま、たまにはこういうのもいいかな、新鮮で。さすがに毎日はナナも嫌だけど。
Ooh, CGI, nice. Nami sat my phone down on a table and picked up her fish burger instead. Happily opening the wrapper, she took a hearty bite. Come to think of it, I had the feeling that she told me before how the fish burgers were her favorite food.
せいぜい太るがいいさ。
Nami's movement came to an abrupt halt. She looked over at me hatefully. After some hesitation, she gingerly pointed a partially eaten fish burger in my direction.
半分食べる？
もう手遅れだよ。うん。
Talking to me a little bit. She's offering you food.
そういうこと言うと上司に嫌われるって覚えといた方がいいよ、バカ鬼。
Nanami ended up eating an entire fish burger by herself. What a glutton. Even after that, I had to hear out Nanami's useless chatter, and by the time the cell phone itself came back to my hands, the sun had already set. It had been a long, excruciating couple hours. At last, I parted with Nanami, set off to the road home. It's already full-blown autumn, and a slightly chilly night wind soothed my sick stomach and aching head. I was already plagued by the same nausea and headache when I spent long periods of time around large crowds. Nanami could just go hang, which wasn't to say that I actually wanted her to die or anything. She only thought of herself. She didn't have the slightest idea of how much her behavior could end up hurting me. If I could, I'd want to snap my newly bought phone in half and toss it in a nearby trash can right away. At any rate, it wasn't like I'd purchased it with my own money. But if I did, neither my parents nor Nanami would have learned their lesson, since it was obvious to me that they all say brainless stuff like, since it's broke, let's go buy you a new one. That was that was why I felt compelled to force down my destructive impulse. I should get a move on and go home. Go home and wallow in sweat. I don't know. Out of these past few days, there hadn't been a single one where my stress stopped building up. I wondered if my uneventful days would ever hurry on back to me. That night, another grotesque incident took place. The fourth new gene case. As usual, Grim had been stocking up on the latest news while I played into it. Hey Grim, you're pretty late today. Oh, for a second, I doubted my own sight. How did Grim know that phrase? In my bewilderment, my fingers trembled against the keyboard. I didn't know what kind of answer to give Grim, and it was all I could do to follow his words with my eyes. I'll probably just let that for you guys to read. Jesus, man. Grim, that's a little fucked up, dude. Seen from my PC, I bit my lip. My head was threatening to start. My head was threatening to start matching in it. Someone managed to shake off the visions. For the time being, I better have a mouthful of coke and regain my composure. Damn it, that ass Grim definitely raised the subject that way on purpose, as if to ambush me. Same. How do you know so much about it? It's like you've seen it in person, man. Something along those lines. If you're not interested, same as before. New gen, I mean. That's a matter of chasing new gen news. Might as well go hunting an Insua instead. I didn't want to discuss a topic of new gen, so I did my best to distract him into ending this aspect of the conversation. Auction. I get this, wait, what? Last time this happened, he got all worked up by acting like it was a guru pick. Then turned out to be some stupid doodle. The opposite was more than possible. What? Shut up. So what is it? For real, I had no idea, but to look at it, no, now you have to look at it, I guess. Well, going by the URL, the URL appeared to lead onto online auction. Some could be anything so bad to make my mental browser crash. Getting a little excited, opened the link.
Hmm?
What the fuck? Supplies of type B blood are currently inadequate. Felt kind of like it felt kind of like I've seen this headline somewhere before. Deja vu again? Huh? No, more important than that, where's my happable Sarah pick? Once again, I refuse to say the honorifics. Rolling the wheel of my mouse, I made the page scroll down. Will show up on my monitor without any warning. It was instantly recognizable as a Guro image. I hastily returned my gaze to my upper left monitor and closed the browser window. God damn it, Grim. Guru image has been displayed on my monitor for less than 3 seconds. The amount of time during I had seen it scrolling with my own eyes was hardly a full second, yet despite that, Vampia. Then I can make memes with that, but okay. So you see the dying message in the note that pic? The dying message. The victim wrote it in all blood. I done for self fun. Your screen frozen. The dying message. Yes, get on with it. I'd only seen the picture for an instant, yet despite
ゲー
that,
ムだ。こんな世界は虚構のゲームの世界に違いないんだ。
regardless of how I tried to think about it, the individual letter came flowing up on the back of my eyelids one by one, calling out to me.
なんであの言葉がここで出てくるんだ。
I was familiar with the words. I often muttered them. Question. Wait a minute. Wait. My brain like shut off. Okay. I thought it was already said, but yeah, sorry about that. I thought it was already said. A little while ago, it's been the first time it said to me when you entered into it. Words that seem utterly common, yet you would never have the chance to use them in the course of your ordinary everyday life. Oh, we should be on chapter 3 now. Or. Oh, cool. We are in chapter 3 now. Give me a second. Need to do a thing. Do. Oh my god, I just realized something. There's still a lot in this game. Yes, no, 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 your shots. All right, cool. Yeah, the reason why I was a little quiet because I was reading up basically what are the true end requirements. Obviously spoiler free, but I need to know right now because apparently there's a lot of chapters in this game. So, oh boy, this is a lot of parts in the works. Jesus Christ. But that'll be way later, obviously. So, for now, this is unimportant. But yeah, once again, super sorry for that little delay. Let's continue on. 4 a.m. Let me just read that again. Shibuya is said to be a city that doesn't sleep, but few people could be seen. The pedestrians scramble in front of the station. In their place were numerous parked taxis, staying by for a chance to carry away the drunk unwillingly to wait for the first train of the day. Most of the taxi drivers had reclined their seats and were napping. Yet there were also more hardworking drivers among them, who rested against their steering wheel and gazed blearily in the direction of the 107 building and the shopping district. But they weren't trying to discern whether any potential customers were talking about. They watched with deep interest the movements of the street cleaners who had arrived about 3 minutes earlier. At least those 5 or 6 men are presumably street cleaners, because of their yellow arm bandages with sanitary worker characters inscribed on them. Without any badges, chances were that 10 out of 10 people would have failed to recognize them as the street cleaners. For some reason, they all wore black suits. Furthermore, ever since arriving, they they had blatantly shown no signs of starting to clean. As for what they were doing, one man held up a particular instrument shaped like a pendulum, and the other men surrounding him were measuring something. Moreover, this did not happen in merely one place. Everywhere from the center to the edges of the scrambled crossing, they took measurements and wrote things down on a piece of paper. On pieces of paper, I might add. Now today I gathered directly below the traffic light and silently paid close heed to the movements of the pendulum device. At last the instrument let out a small noise.
地点 L2 の8、0.62メガ GE、ハイスコアです。
先月より38ポイントもアップか。思った通りだ。
But no one in early morning Shibuya was there to take heed of their curious actions and murmuring. As soon as customers climbed into their cars, the taxi drivers took off and quickly forgot about the mysterious street cleaners. The drunks were less than fully conscious and could hardly see their surroundings in the first place. Female entertainers and nightlife workers, released from the stress of having to keep smile at repulsive drunkards, got into taxis to return home as fast as possible. Because of this, not a single person noticed that the government had not formed any plans whatsoever for the streets to be cleaned in the small hours of the morning today. Weird. Even after the weekend, the fourth new gen case, commonly known as the Vampire House incident, continued to have powerful reverberations. The corpse of a man whose blood had been withdrawn in its entirety, and whose body surface had transformed in color to an unhuman green, It was discovered in a bathroom in the Shibuya station of the Inokashira line, and it was inevitable that the mass media and the ad channel would seize on it. Given the abnormality and the brutality of the murder, as well as the fact that the photographed the body had been put on display in an online auction before the body itself was actually discovered. More attention was paid to the sentence used in the headline for the auction page, which read supplies of type B blood are currently inadequate. Several days prior to the incident, ticket packs advertising blood donation drives with the exact same sentence written on them had been passed out in large quantities in the plaza in front of the Shibuya station. I had one of these tissue packs close at hand. Now reading back over it, an incongruity-filled text could be interpreted as an advance warning of the murder, rather than a recruitment notice for blood donations. Apparently, the police were searching for the part-time workers who had distributed the tissues, but for some reason they hadn't managed to find many leads. There was one area in which Vampire House differed crucially from from the other three cases. One sign that had already been pointed in the staking case. The tendency towards theatricality has manifested far more strongly this time around. Some in the media had begun to assert that there should be more police officers patrolling Shibuya, or that late night curfews should be enacted to prevent young people from loitering around instead of going home. However, the number used visiting the area should show no indication of dropping. As usual, the pedestrians scrambled and the shopping districts were packed with people. And at the middle of a festival that was going on, a group of people called themselves Snake went out into Shibuya late at night to report on certain conditions there, and certain phrase became popular among the youth of the city. Whose eyes are those eyes? Plus, it wasn't only online. These words had only infiltrated the ranks of delinquents who walked around Shibuya. On ad channel, it was a fashionable to tag the phrase to any of your sentences, even if it had nothing to do with what you were talking about. Looks like Sarah won't show up much in this week's Burachu. Whose eyes are those eyes? The weapon you get with the new patch are all way too weak now. Whose eyes are those eyes, so whose eyes are those eyes? And so on. To young people, perhaps New Gen was simply a new cause of excitement and epic threats, though to me it was the most aggravating thing imaginable. Even so, by the time 3 days had passed since the Vampire House incident, I'd started to regain my composure. There remained something like a lump in the corner of my heart. Of course, by immersing myself in Insua over the weekend, I was able to temporarily forget all that hateful and incomprehensible stuff. Even today, when I had to attend school, I succeeded in getting through classes by sleeping or racking my head over information about rare items and into it. I'd grown up a little. And so, on my way back home, I took myself to a cafe for the first time in a long while. It pleased me that my usual choice room 37 was open today as well. The last time I had to come was 2 weeks ago, and it was the first time I'd ever left such a large gap between visits. I found the atmosphere of the store amazingly nostalgic. The rank smell released by the air conditioning, the manga volumes that were seen infused by the scent of nicotine. How comfortable it felt to sit in a reclining chair. Old men snoring in the midst of dead silence.
ルーム37の PC のチャットログを調べさせてもらいました。
That's my girl.
そこから分かったことは、あなた一人の自作自演。将軍はあなた自身。
I hadn't met with Yua since then. We were in a different grade. I hadn't come to school much to begin with, so it was natural that we would have no opportunities to run into each other.
ユアの妄想はすごいよ。
I couldn't help pitying Yua. She was clearly sick in the head. The best way to deal with someone like her was to let her be. She was an accident waiting to happen. these past 2 weeks, I'd risked getting dragged into all kinds of hassles. Till then, I had a remarkably uneventful daily life. And Misumi was about the only person who started out conversations with me. Why had only bizarre and unreasonable things happened lately? I didn't want to think about anything that would aggravate me. Even that dying message must have surely had been a coincidence, regardless of whatever anyone said about it. Weren't there commonly used words? The likes of me had come up with them, so there'd be nothing strange about it if someone else thought of them as well. I wasn't interested in knowing who had that message had been aimed at. No, rather, I told myself that I mustn't become interested. Sir, you have a phone, Takumi. You have a phone now. Something nearby started ringing out of the blue. Startled, I jerked it into my reclining chair. It was the sound of a phone. But whose? It's yours. Because it was quiet inside, the electric sound echoed particularly empathetically throughout the area. I looked around, but I couldn't spot a phone anywhere.
もしかして。
A thought had suddenly occurred to me, and I fished around inside my bag. Sure enough, what had been ringing was a cell phone I'd bought just a few days ago. I looked gingerly at the LCD screen. Normally the caller number would be displayed here. Would it be okay to answer this? That aside, I didn't like talking to people very much. For starters, who on earth was calling me? I hadn't given this cell phone number out to anyone yet. The only person aware were my family and Nanami. Busybody as she was, I put them in my address book. When someone called from a number recording the phone's address book, their names were supposed to get displayed. In other words, the people calling me now wasn't one of my family members. Then who was it? Then the phone. That's a fucking thing. Then whose phone? The phone went on ringing stubbornly. I don't know what happened there. God damn. What? What the fuck? Okay. Let me just get that. Would someone calling my cell phone usually make it ring on hand on with such persistence? Persistence. I never used one before, so I had no idea. Let me just see that. God damn it. This better not be a fucking error with this thing. But it was such unbelievable nuisance, yes. Is it because I'm actually checking it? Roach on your personal space and have it ring until you picked it up. It was just a right way to avoid so much privacy. This was why I hadn't. This is why I hadn't wanted a cell phone. That better been for that split second only, because that's really annoying. I stopped. Relieved, I checked the LCD screen again. One missed call, it said. I had no desire to call back, given that I didn't know who to pick up. Who would pick up? Thus, I decided to let sleeping dogs lie. It'd be best if this kept happening in the future, so I'd better learn how to put on silent. Huh, cell phones are such a bother. That's a mood I can relate to today. I don't like phones to begin with. They're just weird, you know? How does everyone figure out whether or not the person at the other end on the phone is the real one? Talk to me, you're having fucking delusions again, my dude. With phishing and identity theft, wouldn't it make more sense if people at least made an attempt at confirmation? I was completely mystified by how they could stay unfazed while having conversations with a potential impersonator. Even if I knew the principles behind how it worked, it was hard to believe that one's voice could pass through phone lines to reach faraway places. When you talk on the phone, your voice gets converted into electrical signals. They pass through the phone lines until they reach the person you're conversing with. And your voice gets turned back to normal, becoming hearable for the first time. To put it in a different way, for you to talk on the phone, the process needs to include a minimum of two such conversions. In the case of a cell phone, it involved a complicated system where your voice is turned into electrical signals, which travel to. Oh my god, talk to me. You're just talking about signals now, dude. Which travel to a nearby station of radio waves through normal phone lines into another telephone exchange, then to the station closest to the person you're. Oh my god, I hate it. For instance, what if I call Anonymous instead of reaching her? The phone got sent to some sketchy facility to a person I'd never seen before in my place pretended to be non-me and answered to the phone. Maybe they even be a computer instead of a human being. Maybe it's best. Maybe there is a good reason why some it glitches up here and there. Because goddamn, this is just kind of rambly. Not gonna lie. That's why it scared me to talk on the phone. It scared me much more than talking face to face. When I logged into it with Lisa Lote. Oh yeah, that's right. His second account, I think. Like I always did. 3 hours passed in a blink of an eye. It's been 2 weeks since I used Lisa Lote. I was pretty satisfied by how well she cheered up. She cheered up everyone around her. I left the ad cafe in a good mood and headed home. The shopping district was as boisterous and full of people as ever. I had always found it annoying, and the illumination of the variety stores lined up along the street made it so bright that I had a hard time believing it was night. At the end of that bright road, I jerked to a stop when I saw it. For, for I saw it, for it stood out more in the middle of the crowd. That girl was. In the midst of such a huge number of people, she glared at me unwaveringly. In the shopping district, where people came and went without ceasing, where it was difficult to so much as walk in a straight line, she stood there, smack in the middle of a road, releasing the colossal sword she held on her shoulder. It was a blatantly bizarre spectacle, but no one paid attention to her sword. They flowed around her, past her to either side without any change in demeanor. She was the girl I'd seen at 107. She's been there when on me and I went to get a cell phone. The shape of the sword, her suime uniform, her long dark hair, each characteristic matched perfectly. Back then, she'd been standing on top of the stairs to 107, watching people below going and go and fro. That's a word, I guess, now. In addition, I recalled the sharpness of her glare. I'd met her once before at school. Almond-shaped eyes, a face attractive enough to make her a model, although conversely made her seem unapproachable, sleek, dark, waist-length hair. She was girl B, and roughly a week ago, she rudely asked me, "Who are you?" in a corridor between buildings. But why was she staring at me? Thinking I was being overly self-conscious, I turned around. At times like this, it might turn out she was actually looking at an acquaintance of hers over my shoulder or something. But that did seem to be the case. That girl, the one she was glaring at, what the look of hostility was, as I thought. Me. I shrank away. I understand what it felt to be the proverbial frog getting glared at by a snake. Staring back was out of question. Locking eyes with people was one of my biggest weaknesses, so I had no choice but to look down. Time to run. Normally I'd go home by turning left, scramble crossing where she was standing, come on next to the book first. Today I decided to go around by the station plaza. There were a lot of people there, but I'd take a pass on letting some scary 3D girl pick a quarrel with me. She might try to shake me down for money. Girl B looked like she was alone, but in truth, maybe her juvie friends were lying in wait nearby, plotting to beat me senseless when she lured me in. I wasn't just about to take the bait. I swung around to the right and was dumbfounded.
あ、え
For some reason, Girl B was in front of me. Flustered, I looked over my shoulder at the pedestrian scramble. She wasn't there. I looked to the front again, but That's before the sword-bearing girl bee went on glaring at me. When? How the hell had she circled around me? There were limits to being fast, but this was practically teleportation. How had she known I was going around the corner anyway?
おい
Her voice reached my ears with an awful clarity. I frantically surveyed my surroundings. I wanted to think that she'd been calling me to someone else. So suspicious, I searched for someone who seemed like a suitable target for her hay. Of course, they weren't there. A couple of salarymen passing nearby gave girl wee dubious looks, but, but they soon realized she wasn't referring to them and walked away. Girl B, who'd been standing dauntedly in place, took a sudden step in my direction. That was sufficient. That was sufficient to make me certain of it. Girl B was targeting me, after all.
お前見えるのか
As discourteous as ever, in my 17-year-old life, I could probably count the number of times a girl had spoken to me this curtly. There were times when Kiremiya Tsubaki, nicknamed Sunko, had talked to me like that, in a tsundere sort of way. Then again, Sunko was a 2D character from an eroge called Tell Me Doll. Girl B kept approaching me while these idiotic thoughts ran over my head. She had this overwhelming feeling to her. Though she was only a girl, I wonder at it a little. But the reasons were simple. The sharp look in her eyes, and her oversized sword. For a sword, it had a fairly singular design. And if you regarded it as something anime-esque, it was fabulously formed. But if you tried to use it in real life, it wouldn't do you a bit of good. It was definitely a weapon from a mech anime or something. Had any mech anime started airing recently? Except, even though I knew it had to be an anime cosplay prop, it looked incredibly hard and sharp, and it had an air about that suggests your fingers would get sliced right off you touched it. It was a mysterious
見
sword.
えるのかと聞いている
Kobe had already cut the distance between us to 2 meters, close enough that if she swung her sword, it would reach me. I hesitantly took a step back, but it was too late. Girl B shortened the distance further. She swung her sword for real. You know what? For this one, I'm gonna go with really bad delusion, just to spice it up a little bit. I did promise it last time. She swung her sword for real. Crouching down on the spot, I covered my head. If I didn't dodge it, it would hit me right in the head. It wouldn't cut me or anything, but with her swing that hard, I'd get a cerebral concussion and a dented skull for sure. I hate pain.
何をするだ
I was so shaken, my Japanese got all strange.
やはり間違いないお前私が見えているんだろ
はい
Had she just asked if you can see me? Me, in short, was Girl B herself, standing directly before my eyes. Girl B's face suddenly crumbled with sadness, and she crouched down in front of me. For her eyes on the same level as mine, she looked at me as though she were clinging to me.
私誰にも見つけてもらえなくてどれだけ声を出しても誰にも届かなくて体はすり抜けちゃうし寒いしほら見て私足も透けちゃって自分に何が起きたのかさっぱりわからなくてもう何年も何十年もこの場所をさまよっていたような気がする
I did choose bad delusion, right? Could she be a ghost? Sorry. No way, how dumb. I don't have a trace of ESP.
ずっと探してた。私を見つけてくれる人、ありがとう、ありがとう、お礼に。
お前に取り付いてやる。
So that's bad delusion.
答えろ。見えるんだな。ディソードが。え
I couldn't immediately grasp my situation after I came back to myself, and I made the mistake of staring up at Girlsby's face. She wasn't crying, or her legs were see-through, and her hands were regular hands. Oh, it'd been a delusion, huh? In any case, she wasn't trying to pick a fight by asking if I'd seen her panties either. Oh, that side. The sword. What'd she mean? It was the first time I heard that word. Well, she said sword, and the blade-shaped object she carried was certainly a sword. Why ask me if I can see her sword? For the time being, I nodded. Jeez, of course I could see it. It'd be weird not to see it. Because she was carrying around a sword that big and conspicuous in the shopping district of all places. I'd be able to accept it if this were Akiba, but in Shibuya? No way.
そうか。お前も集められたんだ
Gathered? Gathered who? I was here on my own accord, at least, but
な。エラーを見たことがあるか。
you speaking Japanese? I wanted to say it, but typically enough, I lacked the courage. After all, if I'd said something careless, she'd stab me. Really though, she hasn't been making any sense whatsoever for a while
いいから
now.
教えろ。
After saying this to me, Girlby turned on her heel. Her skirt wavered in the breeze, making it seem like I might glimpse her panties. Once again, talk to me. Priorities, man. I hurriedly closed my eyes.
私は3年の青い瀬名。駅前の電車にいる。
My eyes went wide. Soon afterwards, the girl who had called herself Senna had vanished. I was so dazed. I was so dazed it prevented me from realizing not a single thing she said was comprehensible until after I returned to my base. We're actually making decent progress here. We're on chapter 3, if from what I got out of this. On top of everything, I had to go to school 3 times this week. What a bother. A mysterious screech sounded from a little ways away. It caught me by surprise, and my shoulders jumped. When I looked in the direction the voice had come from. Fuck.
お兄
Nanami came galloping towards me with astounding momentum. I thought I'd run away, but it was too late. She circled around me and I blocked away. She'd always have good reflexes.
ちょっとなんで妹見て逃げるの
Because you made me depressed, obviously.
あ、そうやってすぐ黙るし
Really, why'd you decide to come to Suime Academy? The same school I attended. Caused me boundless trouble when we bumped heads at school like this. Or when she put her foot down and started meddling with this and that.
ねえねえ携帯どう使ってる使ってないでしょ買ってからもう何日か経ってるけど一度も家にかけてこないもんね
I started walking faster in the hope of shaking Nanami off. But she stubbornly but she stubbornly stuck with me.
家に生存報告の電話ぐらいしなよ。そのために買ったんだから。どうしても嫌ならナナの携帯にかけるだけでもいいからさ。お母さん心配してるんだからね。そもそもちゃんとご飯食べてんの？どうせコンビニ弁当ばっかなんでしょ。やっぱお兄に一人暮らしは無理なんだよ。家に帰ってきなよ。ナナがどんな気持ちでお兄の様子見に行ってるか分かってる？いつも心配でしょうがないんだからね。
Jesus, talk to me. Jesus, dude, your sister loves you. Give her respect, man. So obnoxious. What the hell was her problem? Are you my mom or something? Don't tell me about this kind of thing on the wayside. It's humiliating. She made me gloomy even at the best of times. And now my mood is steadily plummeting in the worst way, in the worst possible direction. For starters, there was nothing more embarrassing than going to school together with your little sister. It happened a lot in Erogate, but there had been times when I'd longed to be in such a situation. But Nanami couldn't hold a candle to 2D little sisters. Huh. Gave her a cuter sister. Nanami and I, both somewhat crossed, walked up to school side by side. I studied her to see if I had a chance of escaping before we reached the school gates. Though she'd been talking fast and furious when she came up to me. Nanami had fallen silent and was walking along with an absent-minded look on her face. Her eyes seemed to be drifting around. Maybe it was only my imagination. Her fade was unsteady. She seemed strange. I thought suspiciously. She went on swaying towards the road. For as the car came speeding along. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Chad talking to me here. Oh shit. Frantic, I grabbed Nanami's arms and pulled her back. The car zoomed by, honking its horn. She narrowly missed being hit.
何やってんだ。
あれ？
Blinking, Nanami cocked her head to one side.
ナナ、今なんであんなこと？あれ？
This girl, she was an honest to God idiot. Not understanding something she herself had done. For a record, let me say that I didn't find it moe. It wasn't moe in the slightest. Seriously fed up, I left behind the still stupefied Nanami and hurried on ahead.
お兄、ちょっと待ってよ。
I ignored Nanami until we got to school, then went down the still boisterous hallway to my classroom. When walking down a hall, stick to one side or the other. Go neither too quickly nor too slowly. Lower your eyes and walk without meeting anyone's gaze. Those were the 3 items I paid careful attention to. Don't sound at school. Be the same as the air. That was how I got around safely.
Yo, Taku.
Yet today, the same person appeared again and interfered with my attempts to blend in. Catching up with me from behind, Mizumi gave me his usual friendly pat on the shoulder.
Oisu.
Same, hey dog.
挨拶ぐらいしろって。ま、お前がそういうやつだってのは分かってるけどよ。なあ、この前 D 組の女子の話したよな。めったに学校来ねえけど、すげえ可愛い女子がいるって。その子、岸本綾瀬って名前なんだけどよ。
Well, we're mean new characters, I think.
実は、その岸本に関して、すげえ発見したんだ。
Mizumi suddenly lowered his voice and checked out our surroundings. It was probably something vulgar again. Wary of him, I almost let out a sigh.
フェスいるだろ。フェス。
Oh, but his words made me catch my breath.
岸本ってのがフェスなんだよ。俺マジビビったぜ。まさかフェスがうちの学校の生徒だなんてよ。しかも俺らとタメだってことだぜ。
Dude, for some reason, Mizumi stuck up the upper half of his body out of nearby window, gazed rapturously up at the
運命
sky.
ってきっとこういうことを言
Ooh
うん
man,
だな。
fucking ooh man shit, dude. If we were on the dirt floor, if he slept even a tiny bit, he'd fall down, break his neck, and lose his life. I was on pins and needles as I watched him. Mizumi gradually leaned out further, looking at down. Translation: looking down at the entranceway below the window.
噂をすればなんとやらだタク。岸本を発見した。もうすぐここに来るぜ。
え
But so many coincidences piling up. Maybe he'd been correct in saying it was fate. It was fated. Not that I had any interest.
よし、待ち構えてやる。見てろタク。俺のナンパ術ってのを見せてやるよ。
He was overflowing with self-confidence as he spoke. Oh boy, it must be nice to have a face like this. Pick up lines and like existed in a completely different world from me. I didn't want to try using them either. Oh hey look, it's apparently her name's Ayase. Yeah. After some time, Fesu. No, her real name was Kishimoto Ayase. Came to view, just as Mizumi had said. It was the real Fesu. I made certain of it myself, watching secretly from a slight distance. Even now, I was surprised she turned out to be the same age as us. Fesu walked along slowly, wearing her swim uniform, giving off a world-weary air. He created a remarkably different impression from how she had looked while singing on stage. At the time, though she spoke apathetically, she had given off something along the lines of a powerful sense of energy and activity. But right now, the atmosphere around her merely made her seem melancholy and difficult to approach. Give me a second. Pretending not to notice it, yeah, sorry. Pretending not to notice it, Misumi had walked casually up to Festu with the same friendly intimacy he has always showed me.
よ、岸本さん。おはよう。
What a refreshing yet false seeming smile. To think he could take that attitude with someone he practically had never met before. It made me shiver with awe. I idolized him, but I didn't want to imitate him.
あ、俺三角大輔。よろしく。おっと、初対面とか思ってるだろう。でも違うんだな、これが。俺さ、こないだファンタズムのライブ行ったんだよね。だから君に会うのは2度目。
So annoying, my dude.
で、その時君の歌声にこうなんつうのビビってきちゃったんだ。別に俺ミーハーとかじゃねえよ。惹かれたのはさ、詩とか君の可愛さとかそういうところもあるけど、でも何より一番すげえって思ったのはやっぱバンドとしての完成度っつうか、あの音あっての君の歌声っつうの。ちなみに俺も実はバンドやりたいなって思っててさ、よかったらああいういいバンドメンバーを見つけるコツとか、バンドの先輩としての心得みたいな
You're so full of it, man.
教えて
You're
く
so
んねえか。
full of it. Here's this.
あ、今すぐじゃ迷惑だろうから、そうだな、放課後とか暇？どっかで二人きりでじっくり話さない？
Mizumi chattered on without resting. He used a different tone than normal. It was obviously put on her voice. Plus, instead of directly hating on her, he brought up the topic of band such so as to casually invite her. By the way, it was the first time I heard about him wanting to form a band. No matter how I thought about it, it had to be a lie. He'd go he, he'd go that far to score some points, to make an event flag stand up with her. But dude, no save point, cause knowing this game. Let's go with the green one. I don't know what this is gonna do, but let's go. Tessa didn't give Misumi a second glance, as she hadn't heard a single thing. She went on plodding down the hallway.
なあ、聞いてる？
Tessa came to a halt. Her faintly lowered gaze slowly rose. She looked at me. Me? Come to think of it, I thought she was staring at me during the concert too. To begin with, 3D girls had been staring at me pretty damned often over these past 2 weeks. What was going on? Had I blossomed to popularity? That's cringy, my dude.
私好きな人がいるのよ。
え？マジ？何何？それって俺のこと？
そこの人。
そこ？
Over there? Over where? Fessa wasn't pointing anywhere. She was simply looking at me. She was looking only at me. Maybe I was the guy she liked?
この前ライブに来てたわね。
Fessa began walking towards me, still not averting her gaze. The people around us started making a stir. Apparently everyone had their ears pricked to hear this utterly unthinkable confession from Shibuya's charismatic diva, Fessu.
いや、俺もライブに行って。
一目で悟ったわ。
Fessu wasn't listening to Mizumi. She seized my tie in one hand and pulled me towards her. Holy crap. Close enough to make for me to have an acute sense of how she was breathing. This wasn't the kind of distance you find between new friends, nor would it work too well for family. Yes, this was kind of distance that belongs between lovers. Holy crap.
君は私の運命の人だ。
Festus stroked my cheek with the tip of her fingers. She didn't show a hint of a smile. Exactly. The seductiveness of that gesture made me shudder. I was becoming enchanted by her. I couldn't look away.
決めたわ。私お嫁さんになる。
Fucking delusions, man. Although her declaration was something quite remote from the world weariness that Fessu bore about her. The gap between the two was, the contrary, unbearably acute. As our surroundings burst with excitement over how Fessu had literally just proposed to me. Mizumi was just so crestfallen at having lost to me that he fell to his knees on the spot.
僕の意見は無視ですか？
嫌なの。
Oh.
嫌じゃないです。
I was getting swept along by the flow of things. I ended up one life winner simply by becoming engaged to such a lovely girl. What the fuck? Thus began our now. This is bullshit. Yeah, as if. While I was having a stupid daydream, Fessu murmured something in a tiny voice and swiftly went away.
自信なくすぜ。くそー。
Yeah. Have you been completely ignored by her? Misumi was sulky. Given that she could so queenly turn down an invitation from said like him, perhaps Fessu was actually the Yuri type.
それはすごくいいスールです。
Especially if her little sister was a lolly type. Lolly character like Nanami. Yeah, yeah.
あんな不愛想な女、 もう二度と相手にしてやるもんかよ。あー、うぜえ。だいたい何が剣を見つけろだ。わけわかんね
剣。
え。ああ、岸本がそう言ってただろ。剣を見つけろ。そうすれば救われるって。
Being saved.
なあターク、ファンタズムの歌にそんな歌詞でもあるのか？
A sword. Could you be referring to something like the mic stand ask thing she used during her show? That she mentioned it 2 days ago, a completely different person had interrogated me about a sword. The girl called Senna had been amazingly scary. I thought she cut me for real. The sword she held had differed in shape from the one Fesu brought to her show. Yeah, but they possessed similar atmospheres. I wonder if they were connected in some way. I don't know. I don't know a thing. Shogun, the demon girl, Yua, Fesu, Senna, a sword. As was my habit, I organized the things I didn't know by making a bullet point list of them in my head. I considered tacking on I myself as the last item, but I stopped. I was perfectly normal. My surroundings were aberrant. That'd be obvious to anyone. Was Fesu my ally or my enemy? That was all I really needed to find out. I wasn't brave enough to talk to her. Today I went to Animate without stopping by at cafe. The reason, of course, was to pick up my long-awaited Burachu Seda post-awakened version. While I was buying it, Yua's face briefly flitted across the back of my mind. But I soon forced that train of thought to stop. I took a look at the Seda put on display to catch customers' eye. But since the sculptor was Kijima Yoshio, nothing indeed needed to be said about the quality. I better hurry home and savor every nook and cranny of her. As long as I could gaze at Seida's face every so often while playing into it, I was happy. Despite that, why did the third dimension have to keep bringing me nothing but burdens? It was the same now. As I forgot all about Fesu and her sword, I head off for my base with a new spring in my step. While I had about 50 meters to go, I encountered 2 men who possessed an undeniably out of the ordinary air about them. Oh hey, I thought I would pass them by without meeting their eye, but they were blaringly watching me.
そこの君、ちょっといいかい？
How did two. The one who spoke to me was a bleary-looking geezer like you see at gambling at a racetrack. Messy hair, unshaven, suit wrinkled, necktie sloppily tied, and shoes with no trace of polish. The vision of a man who'd failed to get ahead in life. Somehow, the fact that he was flapping a handheld fan words while flapping a handheld fan at himself only served as to emphasize his wretchedness. His expression too was melancholic. He put on a flippant smile, but his eyes, which met mine for the barest second, weren't laughing. I had nowhere to run, while I wavered how to answer him. The two of them kept walking right up to me.
おじさん、こういうものなんだけどさ。
The geezer took a black folding badge out of his breast pocket and held it to me. It was a type of police ID I often see in TV dramas. That was, of course, the first time I'd laid eyes on one in real life. It had finally come. I can only think of one reason: the staking.
ちょっと話を聞かせてもらっていいかい？ああ、もちろん強制じゃないんだけどね。あ、そんな身構えなくていいよ。本当話聞くだけだから。
There was zero pressure present in his manner of speaking, except the other. The younger detective wore a severe expression as he casually changed his position to block my path. I started sweating. If I didn't if I did say anything stupid, they must start suspecting me of being a perpetrator and haul me into the police station. I couldn't let that happen. I resigned myself to my fate and gave a small nod.
君さ、俗に言うニュージェネレーションの狂気って知ってるかな？
As I thought, wiping sweat off my forehead, I nodded back at him.
じゃあ3番目に起きた通称貼り付け殺人事件も当然知ってるよね。この近所で起きたわけなんだけども、その目撃者を探してるわけよ。あ、ちなみに君、名前聞かせてくれる？
I couldn't help sucking in a breath. This wasn't Zhugliang's trap, was it? Or maybe they were a group of conmen who acted like policemen while talking to me, when really they were going to extract my personal information and put it to ill use, or as underlings of the demon girl herself.
あれ、答えてくんないのかな？
Once they started doubting me, there'd be no end to it. What should I do? If I answered them with a false name, that alone might give them sufficient ground to arrest me.
ああ、個人情報保護法とか気にしてる？おじさんそんなに信用なさそうに見えるかな。
Yeah, you do. Anyhow, his amiable manner of talking was surely just an act.
西条匠
In the end, I couldn't think of anything to do. I had no choice but to answer honestly.
西条匠くんでいいかい？
I nodded.
本当に？
Huh? What do you mean by really? What's with the reaction? When I've been good enough to answer truthfully.
いや、こりゃ失礼。今のは気にしないでくれ。
The detective's deliberate sounding laugh echoed through the quiet residential area. I wanted to be quicker about releasing me.
その制服、水明だよね。何年生？
They haven't answered that kind of thing too.
に
That's it? Okay.
悪いね。聞き取れなかった。おじさん、もう年だから耳遠くてさ。もう一度言ってくれる？
2年生
ああ、2年生ね。どうも。で、西条さん。聞きたいことってのは、先月の29日の午後6時から10時頃にかけて、どこで何してたかなんだわ。
Were they asking about for my alibi? Could it be that as they suspected me? But that was absurd.
いや、別に君を疑ってるわけじゃなくてさ。その時間にこの近くにいたなら、怪しい人物を見かけたとか、何か音を聞いたとか、ないかと思ってね。
Somehow listening to this detective really got me irritated. Maybe speaking in such a way as to purposely anger the subject was a kind of interrogation technique. I'd seen a suspicious person with my own eyes, distinctively. I vacillated about whether it was okay to tell that to this sketchy-seeming old fogey. What would I do if I told him, and Demon Girl came to retaliate? Right now it seemed like she was letting me slip away, but she had the precog Shogun as one of her toadies. She herself must be able to use some sort of unbelievable power as well. That might truly be the case. So, if I were to go out and speak about Demon Girl to the police, she might have already found out by using her sixth sense of something, then maybe she would come to kill me.
なあ、西条くん。今日はそんなに暑いか？
When he said this, my heart rate jumped. If I didn't say anything more, they'd definitely think I was a criminal. But I was scared that even if I liked it by saying I didn't see anything, they would know I was faking it. The older man used a fan whom he was carrying to fan the side of my face for me. A cool breeze stirred my hair.
もうすっかり秋だ。汗かくほど暑いとは思えんけどな。まあ、体質ってのは人それぞれだしな。
I didn't exactly want to hear that from a guy who walked around with a fan in this season, but admittedly, it wasn't particularly hot today. The temperature was just at the right level for comfort. I wiped my sweat off again and again with the sleeve of my uniform.
僕はやってない。
おお。
The color in the color in the detective's eyes changed. I realized I must have said the wrong thing, but I didn't understand what part of it had been the wrong thing in the first place.
何をやっていない？
He totally suspected me. My only option was to answer truthfully. Staring down the manhole that happened to be located right at my feet, I shouted,
見たんです。貼り付けの現場、そこに女がいたんです。で、血まみれにして死体の前に杭がたくさん死体に突き刺さってて、あれ500本は絶対超えてた。異常だ。死体がハリネズミみたいになってて、女は僕を見てよかったって笑ってた。あの女は悪魔だ。人間じゃない。ニュージェネの母親には人を超えた存在なんだ。ヨシとかすごい超能力とか使う。
When I said that much, I realized the two detectives were staring at me blankly. Maybe they didn't believe me. I shut up again as that thought occurred to me.
悪魔か。なるほどね。
本当です。
ああ、分かってる分かってる。貴重な情報だよ。
僕を警察で守ってください。
その前にその女の年は分かる？服装とか顔の特徴とか。
水明。
水明って水明学園？
その制服着てた。
つまり西条君と同じ学校の生徒か。
After lapsing into thoughts for some time, the old man grinned and then muttered something that could have been either a real question or a rhetorical one.
何年生だろうな、その女子高生は。何年生だと思う？西条君。
わからない。
じゃあなんて名前だと思う？
わからないよ。僕はあの悪魔の名前なんて知らない。
その女の身長、体重、あとついでにスリーサイズについて。
That seems a bit extra about the turtle one, but okay, man. What was up with this geezer? Was he mocking me? How could I possibly know even one of those? I don't have a moronic love comedy manga-esque power like being able to tell someone's height, weight, and 3 sizes from a single look.
なるほど。黙ってるってことはわからないってことだね。結構参考になったよ。これは本部に戻って検討しないといかんな。
先輩、マジっすか？
Lifting a hand to silence the dumbfounded younger detective, the older one gave him some kind of sign with his eyes.
あ、西条君、ちなみに連絡先とか教えてもらえる？
なんで？
They didn't believe me after all. They wanted to label me a deviant and set me up as a criminal.
ああ、だって悪魔だっけ？そいつから君を守らなくちゃならないだろ？
Oh, I get it. Thank God they believed me. There'd be nothing more comforting than having the police looking out for me. Of course, our opponent was a demon, so maybe even after the police could get felled with a single blow, it was better than being completely unarmed. Tiny bit relieved, I took out my cell phone I bought the other day and showed its number to the detectives. The younger detective wrote it down on his side note with his notebook.
いや、忙しいところありがとうさん。君の身の安全は警察が保証するから何の心配もしなさんな。じゃあまた何か聞きたいことができたら電話するかもしんないんで、その時はよろしくな。イルスとか使わないでくれよ。今のところ警察にとっては君は重要な人物だからな。
Oh, that's a pain. There's a spider on my fucking screen. That's fucking cute. Give me a second as I mute this and I kill this SOB quickly. Sorry. Yikes, sorry about that. Yeah, spider is fucking killed. That was irritating. But anyway, I'm back.
君の目撃証言は事件解決の重要な手がかりになりそうだ。じゃあな。
The two detectives bowed their heads to me and swiftly walked away. After turning back to glance at me, the younger detective began saying something to the older one in the lower tones. It's human talk. The other one kept walking without responding to him. I took deep breaths. Huh. I'd been so nervous. It's my first time being questioned by real detectives. I acted pretty suspiciously, but somehow they believed me. Maybe. It'd be wonderful if the police caught the demon girl. But the police were basically powerless, so it might not be a good idea to expect too much from them. Man, talk me this fucked up, dude. Noticing that the inside of my mouth has become desert dry before I knew it. I bought a plastic bottle of Coke from a nearby vending machine. In our section, hopefully this might be the last section. I did say 2 hours.
後ろから見たらパンツ丸出しじゃんか。だがそれがいい。
Jesus, Takumi.
てらエロ顔。やっぱこの泣きそうっつうか生きそうにしか見えない顔が木島義雄のいいとこだよな。マジで木島 GJ。半脱ぎ下手に隠してる方がエロいし、この左手の位置とかやばすぎ。上着キャストオフとかこの角度からじゃほとんど全裸にしか見えんよ。
I keep saying it. Jesus Christ, Takumi, man.
髪の動きがいいよな。覚醒バージョンは髪が命って持論があるわけだが間違ってなかったな。さてそれではお待ちかねパンツいってみようか。どれどれ。V ゾーンの作り込みいいよ。シワのつき方リアルだしってこれスージーさんすげえマジですげえクオリティ高すぎ。
This is the most excited I've heard this asshole in a long time.
これセーラタン5作目にして早くも最高傑作爆誕じゃねえ。これ以上すごいのなんて出せないってマジで。やっぱ木島は神。
Kijima Kami. Jesus, dude, you already stripped her down. I carefully placed a new Seda next to my PC monitor. You're so sexy, Seda! Ah! Simply looking at her made me grin uncontrollably. This truly was a moment of sublime bliss. It's fucked up, dude. I got right down to posting my impressions on the Saber figure at one of my channel figure threads on the thread. After having done so, I checked my email whether or not any of my friends in Furepara had made updates.
おっと前触れ申請来てるじゃん。誰これセーラコミュの人か。 はいはい、ゲイですよ。
The second I thought, alright, about time to start in, so I sense a prickling in the back of my neck. It was gaze, with its usual intense presence. Whose eyes are those eyes? Shit, what pain in the... What the fuck? We're on number 21. Good delusion, I guess? Let's see. What was it that I first began to sense its gaze? I had long since forgotten completely. It interfered with me at every little turn. There were a lot of different elements I kept disturbing my uneventful life, but this gaze was right up on non-enemy's level in terms of being a horrendous bother. Fine, then maybe I'll play it. It'll take more than me to make me turn around game. Still facing still facing my PC, I try to come up with the kind of lines you find in the
貴
manga.
様出てこい。僕の目をごまかせるとでも思ったか。甘いな。
バレちゃった。
当たり前だ。僕の後ろに立つなと何度言えば。
The fuck? Had I heard a female's voice just now? Goosebumps sprang up all over me. That's... Did that mean the previously unseen owner of the gaze had appeared at last? Was that impossible? Should I turn around and see who it was? Why was she attacking me the second I turned around? It had been a rather cutesy voice, but what if it was a monster far removed from anything I might have recognized as human was staying there? No. If that were the case, she might have readying herself to attack me at this very moment. If I didn't turn around, maybe I wouldn't even notice that when she killed me. Perhaps I should say something again to see if there was a response. The voice I had heard earlier may have been an auditory hallucination or one of my delusions. Like fucking right now. I mean, I always talked on and on with my Sarah figure in my head. It was the same as that. Just turn around. I started to take a plunge and ask, "Who are you?" but I soon ran into hesitation. Might be bad if I provoked her. It could turn into the trigger that made her come attack me. I envisioned so many different possibilities that I find myself unable to move. What to do? Perhaps I was currently in a terribly foolish situation. It would be way too dumb if the owner of the gaze wasn't really there. And the truth of the whole matter was that I've been sitting in my chair all this time, trembling in terror of my delusions.
あれタク固まってる。
It was an auditory hallucination. Or delusion, after all. There was someone behind me. Startled, I reflexively turned around. The demon girl. The girl sitting on the sofa was undeniably the one I had met at the scene of the staking. For some reason, she was looking at me with a grin. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh man. Oh God. She's finally come to kill me. Had to be because I told the police the facts. She'd seen me do it with her second sight. So she entered this room soundlessly, and she established herself in a position for him where she can kill me at any time. And she decided to gaze me upon as I wept and screamed in fear. That had to be it. Don't kill me, I tried to scream. My excess of terror made it hard for my voice to come out.
コケコッコ。
Craning her neck, the demon girl let forth the words of some mysterious spell. She was cursing me or something. It must have been black magic. She just said, "Shush, go out, my dude." In hopes of opening even a little distance between me and her, I decided to flee beneath my computer desk. I was so shaken that I hit the head on the edge of the desk and curled up in pain on one of the spots.
い音したよ。コツンって。
That demon girl didn't. That demon. Yeah, words. The demon girl still didn't lose her amused seeming smile. But surely trapped her lull me into a false sense of security. The moment relaxed, she homed in for the killing blow. Or else maybe she had already placed a curse on me with the magical words she used before. A few days later, I might suddenly die by bursting all over with blood spurting from my body.
頼む、殺さないで。
I curled my head and splayed myself on the floor. I detested the two detectives who had appeared before me with every fiber of my being.
警察に喋ったこと謝るから。
警察？
それに話してもちっとも信じてもらえてなかったし。
It was delighted by myself some time. The older detective from before had told me he would guarantee my safety. If he were doing his work properly, he must have sent at least one officer to keep an eye on my place. Having thought that far, I gulped. I'd given the old man my phone number, but I hadn't given him my address.
石？
Demon girl suddenly snapped in a Sue-like pose. And bizarrely enough, she muttered something resembling a sound effect of her own accord. Was this too a devil's course?
独り言はやめるべし。殺さないでとか警察がどうとか私には何のことかさっぱりだよ。
In the dark, she said? Did she intend to play dumb? Or was she silently pressuring me with forget everything you saw? Act as if nothing ever happened. This girl, what the hell was she thinking? Had she come to kill me?
ほら、立てる？立とう。
Rising from the couch, the demon extended a hand to me. Her expression seemed extraordinarily gentle. Well, as I saw this close up, she was pretty cute. Shit, I was turning into an idiot here. Thinking a demon looked pretty cute? What the fuck? She was a murderer. She used Yua and Shogun in her attempt to entrap me. Now she'd come to kill me in person? Don't believe her. I already learned my lesson from what happened with Yua. I'd never make the same mistake again. That's why I didn't take her pre-offered hand. Don't be deceived by this demon girl's smile. This was a temptation of a demon. If I gave in to temptation, I'd die. Don't believe anything. Don't believe anything anyone said.
見たんだ。お前が人を殺してるとこ。
あのさ、タク。それ、かなりひどいこと言ってるって気づいてる？まさか殺人犯呼ばわりされるなんてね。ははは。
What does she intend to do with me?
ニュージェネの
Would I be in the same way as that guy in the fourth case?
殺すんでしょ。それとも岩とか将軍とかがいる場所に連れてって。
ユア？将軍？誰それ？
Maybe the three of them felt like banding together to get rid of me in a group lynching.
そんなの嫌だ。助けて。
じゃあね、私を殺人犯扱いしなければ助けてあげる。
So that's how it really is.
そんなビビらないでよ。いちいち私がへこむようなリアクションしてくれるよね。
お願いだ。もう二度と誰にも喋らないから。だから見逃して。
もしもーし、タク、ちょっと落ち着こう。
Sorry about that. Bitch calling me taco friendly like? Can't think of it. How'd she know my name? She known my name even we met for the first time at the staking crime scene. Why? And how she known my base was? Where my base was?
当然でしょ。あなたの名前を知ってるのは。
Had she read my mind? Like I thought she was clairvoyant. She know my name and my address too. Because she used her power on me.
タクって結構独り言多いよね。 前から思ってたことだけど
For 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 a while? Since when? Speaking of which, had I been talking to myself just now? I myself have absolutely no awareness of it. Really, had I really truly been talking to myself? What were the chances that she was lying to me? Or she read my mind?
タクの名前を知らないわけないよ
Hmm.
私物覚えはそんなに良くない方だけど友達の名前くらい覚えるよ
A friend?
それともタク私のことバカにしてるそりゃ私テストの点数はそんなに良くないけど面と向かってそういうこと言われると傷ついちゃうな
Was someone here weird in the head? Who? Me? This girl?
もしかして転校生
そういえば近いうちに転校生が来るらしいよスカチン先生が言ってた
The two halves of our conversations didn't match up. My previous fear mixed with the strain of having no idea when I might suddenly get killed was starting to fade. The exchange of it came a different variety of dread, gnawing its way into my heart and making me so cold.
もしもしその顔はまさかまだ信じてくれてない
誰
Who are you? She was a murderer, a demon girl.
タクこそクラスメートの顔を覚えてないんだひど
Classmate, she says. In other words, we weren't only friends, we were classmates?
でもまあしょうがないかタクはあんまり学校来ないもんねだからって私の存在丸ごとなかったことにするのはどうかと思う私の名前本当に忘れちゃったそんなことないよね知ってるでしょあなたは知ってるはず
Widescreen? Okay.
リミ
そう正解賞金50円プレゼント
え
私崎畑リミですなんだやっぱり覚えててくれたんだね
Hi.
よかったよかった
Why? Was it true? Was the demon girl's name really Rimi? Why had the name come flowing into my heart just now? Why did I know her name? Could it be that she was my classmate and my friend? And I simply forgotten? No, impossible. I never so much as heard the name Sakihara Rimi before. Must be a fake name. It said Rimi, so she made it her name. It was the same as an impersonation con. In the first place, other than Yua, I'd never known a 3D girl who talked to me with such familiarity. And Yua was a demon girl subordinate. I get it. Was the girl called Sakihara wasn't acting right now right in front of my eyes? Was the very same method Yua had used? Knowing I wasn't used to interacting with 3D girls, she meant to lead me into into a trap by behaving friendly with me and tempting me. Anyhow, I neither had any recollection of my classmates' faces nor wanted to remember them. But I could at least say I'd never seen this girl's face in the same classroom as me before. Not even once. Probably. No good. I couldn't totally rule that out. After all, when I was at school, I stayed fixed at my desk from beginning to end, either pretending to sleep while I have daydreams or staring at the surface of my desk or pretending to read my textbook and nothing else. I had practically no memory of my classmates' faces and names. I made no effort to remember them. Which was it? Was she telling the truth or lying to me? No, the issue wasn't whether or not we were classmates, at least. The undeniable fact of the matter was she committed murder.
もしかして本気で思い出せないのさっき き頭打ったせいで記憶喪失になっちゃった？
The demon girl extended a hand towards my head. I fled under my desk and avoid her.
変だよ。じゃあ大地に聞いてみて。そしたらタクも思い出せるかも。
Daichin? What's that supposed to mean? A person's name or some kind of secret code? A devil's evil
大
spell?
地だよ、大地。三角大輔。
She knew Misumi's name? On top of to call him Daichin? She wouldn't say that unless they were really close.
ちょっと待ってね。
The demon girl reached for the bag set down next to the sofa. I didn't own a bag like that, and took out a cell phone.
大地大地はと。よし、オッケー。はい。
After appearing to fiddle around with it for a little bit, she headed out to me. When I did nothing to take it, demon girl smiled wryly and abruptly seized my hand.
ほら、固まってないで。
She forced me to take a hold of the cell phone. The demon girl's hands was soft and painfully cold. I thought it would be a far colder, more icy hand. I wasn't all that terrible. It seemed that even murderers had blood flowing through their veins. That because her hands was unexpectedly feminine, my heart started beating faster. No, don't be misled. She was a demon. I won't let her tempt me. I'm not into 3D stuff. Lend me your strength, Sarah.
タク、携帯使ったことないの？電話機は耳に当てるんだよ。
Head tilted, demon girl took a peek at my face from very close by me. So holding out my phone, she brought it over my ear. On my way, I took a hurried look at my phone's LCD screen. The recording name Daichin was being displayed there, and the phone was already in the middle of making a call. Helpless to do anything, I put my phone against my ear. I heard the sound of it ringing. Class the sound got cut off, and what I heard was, was saying those words to me, or the demon girl? Why you say them? The lion remained silent. He didn't give me his name. It's like it was down. As the bustle of his surroundings came in through the receiver. I was befuddled. I couldn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. Misumi, at least. I thought it was him, to revert to his usual tone. Rimi. Saki Hara Rimi. Did Misumi know her? No, that in itself wouldn't be much of a mystery. In any case, Misumi was a natural-born playboy. It wouldn't surprise me to hear that he gone out with this demon girl in the past, or that even now they were in the thick of a hot and heavy relationship. The issue at hand was whether or not demon girl was currently my classmate.
タク、大地出た？
The demon girl peered at me again. Damn it, your face is too close. I turned my back to her and spoke into the phone.
僕、西条。
Why did he accept it so easily? That almost made it sound like my being with the demon girl was ordinary everyday situation or something. Was the person on the other side of the phone really Misumi? There was already a possibility that the demon girl had made a call some other person whose voice closely resembled Misumi in order to get me to fall into her trap. Maybe some other person who sounded like Misumi was her underling, pretending to be Misumi in the hopes of deceiving me. Anything and everything started to seem suspicious. I didn't know what was the truth and what that was a lie. Begin with, what kind of trap was a demon girl trying to make me fall into by using such elaborate tricks? In a situation like this, wouldn't it be the quickest for her to kill me directly? Or was there a reason she had no choice but to trick me? Even if it meant taking such a roundabout approach. No, maybe it was a candid camera type set up by Musumi. This girl was Musumi's girlfriend, not by my classmate or whatever. I sent her to here on purpose to tease me. That was completely ridiculous. If such were the case, how was I supposed to explain that what had happened at the scene of the staking?
で、タク、なんか用か？俺としては野郎からの電話なんてあんま嬉しくねえんだけどな。
His tone of voice was perfectly identical to Musumi. The more I heard it, the harder it became for me to think that the person on the other hand, on the line, was anyone other than Musumi.
女の口説き方でも教えてもらいたいのか？なわけねえか。
Should I try to get down to business and start talking? I sensed a gaze at my back. That girl was watching me steadily. The tingle at the back of my neck had yet to disappear. What that manner of expression was the demon girl looking at me? I wanted to turn around and see for myself, but I was too scared to do it.
で、なんなんだ？今俺も女と一緒なんだよ。なるべく手短に頼むわ。
その
なんだよ。早く言えって。
うちのクラス
ああ、うちのクラスがどうした？
いる
何か？
女子先畑って名前の
Becoming more and more incoherent, I somehow managed to explain myself. Mizumi suddenly stopped answering. Silence. I could hear the din of the city and other random noises. So it was that we got disconnected. Why wouldn't he say anything? The next thing I heard was an enormous sigh.
ゲーム脳じゃねえの？
What was he saying all of a sudden? Tom and Dad, why had to use the language of a certain kind of a totally irresponsible, groundless anti-gamer science to label me?
それってリミのことだろ？リミの携帯でかけてきてるくせに何バカなこと言ってんだお前。わかった。お前もしかしてリミに何か指図されてんだろ？じゃあリミに伝えといて。お前の低レベルのドッキリに引っかかる。俺はバカじゃねえ。
本当
何が？
本当にクラスメイト
お前な、たまにしか学校来ねえから忘れちまったか？俺はともかく、お前は1年の時から同じクラスだろ？この前だって3人で一緒に映画見に行ったじゃねえか。
When did that happen? I couldn't comprehend what this Mizumi-esque somebody was saying. The gamer and the girl had been in the same class since freshman year? The three of us had gone and seen a movie together a little while ago? A little while ago. When?
俺がお前とダチになったのだって、最初はリミに付き合わされたのがきっかけだったしな。俺と同じで、リミも物好きだからよ。ニートのお前を気にかけてやってるのは、世界広しといえど、俺とリミぐらいだぜ。あ、それは言い過ぎか。
The words I heard from the other side on the phone. Not one of them felt real to me, because I had zero memory of anything that they were referring to. I couldn't acknowledge that such a past existed. That the Mizumi-esque somebody was talking. Someone was talking about a story, not about the past. Or for the past could succeed in forming only with the support of one's memory.
君は誰だ
Unable to stand any longer, I single-handedly ended the call. I realized that without my noticing it, my brain had grown frenzied. The sweat has been oozing from my forehead since before only showed up no signs of stopping. It was starting to increase, enough to go dripping from my chin down to my feet.
たく汗びっしょりだよ。
Looking rather worried about me, the demon girl quietly offered me a handkerchief. A pretty, patternless handkerchief colored pink vermilion. There was a slight fluorescent to it. Staying taken, I attempted to somehow keep my composure and organize my thoughts about my current circumstances. But it didn't go too well. My endlessly suspicious emotions spun down into a whirlwind of disorder.
で ちんはなんて？
After signing what sounded like a light disappointment as she put away her handkerchief, the demon girl asked me this with a triumphant expression. What's the attitude of someone who known the answer from the start? Couldn't afford to answer her. What was she, an ordinary cosmic mind or a monster? I couldn't tell. Maybe I was the one who'd gone crazy. If you took the chat with Shogun into consideration, it's hard to discard the possibility that someone other than myself was controlling me. Or else maybe my memories of this demon girl, of the girl called Sakihara Rimi, had by some accident been knocked clean out of me. Or in the case I didn't understand myself. Was it memory loss? Somnambulism? Something else altogether?
大丈夫？体辛いならソファーで横になる？
The demon girl spoke to me kindly, because of careful kind words. Anyone who acts nice to a creep otaku like me must have an ulterior motive. I shook my head to show her my refusal and raised my face with all my strength. Sweat got into my eyes, making my vision blur. Yeah, either or really. The demon girl's face was closer than I expected. What color did she hold in those eyes of hers?
なんで
なになに？
ここにいる？
なんでってタクに会いに来たんだよ。もしかして勝手に部屋に入ったこと怒ってる？でもそれはタクがちっとも返事してくれないから悪いんだよ。結構長い時間ノックしてたんだから。
I thrusted the borrowed cell phone back at her. As I watched the demon girl timidly take it back, I asked it again.
今度は何？
ここにいる。
Why was her reason to come visit me? If she'd come to kill me, she would act on her intention long ago. Why wasn't she doing anything?
ああ、ここに来た理由？ね。
The demon girl reached in her bag and pulled out a one-sheet printout.
はい、進路希望のプリント持ってきてあげたの。
Without quite meaning to, I accepted from her. Certainly had the future aspiration questionnaire written on it, with a blank field for up to 3 entries. Is that really it? Only that?
帰ってよ。
Didn't want to get involved. I wasn't getting involved with greedy girls. This was a trap. Don't listen. This wasn't reality. It was a game. On top of that, full of bugs. Because there was too many contradictions. It didn't hold together as a story.
僕に関わらないでよ。
If you don't mean to kill me, then please let me be. I belong to myself. Some me that wasn't me and might have been pals with Sakihara Rimi, but that had no connection with my current self. Well, in my head, I closed my heart. I started to tremble, dreaming that girl so-called Sakihara Rimi had never been there in the first place. After some time, I heard the sounds of the door opening, telling my ears that the demon girl had left. That's a good point to save. So. Number 22. That was a good time. Let's return to the title because I already saved. Yeah, that was good. Whoops. Yeah. So, we still have a long way to go, but for 2 hours that was not bad. So, when am I going to stream next? On my current planner, I'm going to say I'm going to try my best to do Tuesday. At most Tuesday. If not Wednesday. Either or, really. Either Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll have to decide then and there. But if not, I'll see. For sure Tuesday. But yeah, I'll put this promptly on YouTube soon. This is pretty fun. It's kind of fun getting back into streaming again. Really hope I can do this more. After Chaos, that once I finish this, if I can finish it in time, I'll play a game. An actual game, not a read-along, basically. But yeah, this is it for now. I am done. Ciao.